Okay, welcome to another episode of Candid Moments with Candace Kirkbride. I'm so excited to introduce my next guest. He is a former member of the Toronto Fire Service whose personal best squat was 305 pounds. That is insane. On November 24th, however, 2018, his life changed in an instant. Please help me welcome to the microphone Curtis
Petategoose.
Petategoose. Welcome, Curtis.
Hi.
Here.
Hello.
So we're just gonna have a conversation like we were just doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, it's still a formal interview. So your life changed in an instant.
Yes.
Do you remember it?
I have snippets of the day that it happened.
Okay. Like I read the article and you had told me previous.
I woke up on the morning at 5 a.m. because 5 a.m. is my normal wake up time anyway.
Okay.
I woke up at 5 a.m. and I was feeling very nauseous.
Okay.
I had just gotten back the day before from Ottawa visiting a friend. We went to go see a concert together in Ottawa. I just gotten off a plane on Friday, November 23rd, went home, drove home, fine, no problems, no symptoms, no nothing, no headaches, no nothing. The next morning at 5 a.m., I felt sick, like nauseous, like I wanted to throw up.
Okay.
Not sure what I needed to do because I had eaten some I thought was maybe some bad food the night before.
Okay.
So I called in sick to my other job. I'm also a massage therapist, so I was working at a popular spa in the town of Blue Mountains called Scandinav Spa. I called my boss that morning, left a message on her machine saying I wouldn't be into work that day. So my plan for that day was just to get some Pepto-Bismol at the local Shoppers Drug Mart in Collingwood, because that's where I was living at the time, in Collingwood. And I remember wanting to take a shower. When I went to my room to change, to go take my shower, that's when people think I suffered a stroke.
Okay.
And I remember collapsing. And my face, the left side of my face had hit my dresser and my bed frame, and it left a huge gash on the side of my face. I had hit a few things. I'd hit my torso, my arm, my face, and the back of my head. There were like little cuts and bruises there.
Gosh. Did they operate? Oh.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So this happened on Saturday, November 24th, 2018. That's when they think I collapsed. And I remember falling. I remember lying on the floor, peeing myself a few times, but nothing was coming out of my bladder because I didn't have anything to drink since Friday night. So I laid on the floor for 2 days. I was found on November 26th, 2018 at like 9 in the morning by two friends.
2 days later.
2 days later, I was on the floor for 2 days. One of those friends was a firefighter who happens to be a friend of mine. She happens to be from Sudbury as well.
Okay.
But she was visiting this other friend who I worked with at the spa, decided to check up on me because she lived 5 doors down from me. And she told the bosses at Scandinav that she was going to check up on me to see what was going on. So her and Brittany's the firefighter from Brampton, but she's from Sudbury. She lives in the town of Blue. She's friends with Susan, and Susan is my friend who I work with. So her and Susan came into my apartment. I remember them screaming my name, saying, "Curtis, Curtis, where are you? Where are you? Why aren't you answering?" They walked into my room, my bedroom. They saw me on the floor. And Brittany looked down at me and she said, "Holy shit, I think Curtis had a stroke."
Oh.
So Brittany leaned down, recognized the symptoms. She saw my left face was frozen and drooping. Mm-hmm. She lifted up my left arm and it dropped like a stone. So they called 911 and I asked Brittany to call my brother, who's a police officer who was training in Aurelia at the time. I only knew that from the day before. So Brittany called my brother in Aurelia. He was training, so he dropped what he was doing and he rushed to Collingwood. They brought me to Collingwood Hospital right away to emerge, and then the decision was made at Collingwood to send me to RVH to see a neurologist. So they sent me to a neurologist in Barrie at RVH, Royal Victoria Hospital. And the neurologist doctor there was going to operate on me.
Yeah.
They were going to drill a hole in my head and like see if they could relieve any kind of pressure that they thought was inside my head. At this point, I don't know if they did any scans or anything. They must have.
Mm-hmm. You were unconscious?
I was unconscious at this point. I was in and out of consciousness when they found me. When they found me, I was conscious.
Mm-hmm.
But when they loaded me into the ambulance, in the ambulance chair, I was unconscious.
Okay.
So when I got to emergency in Barrie, they were going to operate, but that doctor, for whatever reason, decided not to operate because he didn't think I would survive the surgery. And I guess they thought my organs were shutting down because he shot me full of fentanyl, and they sent me back to Collingwood. They needed to wait, I guess, 24 hours to see if I would survive or not.
Wow.
And luckily, I did.
Wow, what a story.
So they didn't operate,
Mm-hmm.
and they thought I was going to die.
And,
Those initial doctors thought I was going to die.
and here we are 2 years later.
And then
It's,
I'll show this picture of you at some point today. There's a picture of me that my brother took of me in the ICU in Collingwood,
yeah.
of my huge gash, the huge gash that was left on my face from when I hit my bed frame.
Okay.
And I use that as my profile picture wherever I go now.
It's your champion picture.
Yeah.
Wow. And we were talking about physiotherapy earlier. And me and you, Curtis, we have something in common. And you didn't believe me at first. You were like, you're lying to me. Oops. That's not good. Okay.
So I guess you could say my recovery began on November 26th and 7th. Because later that week,
3 days later.
I couldn't get out of bed on my own. I needed 2 or 3 people to get me from a bed and put me in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
That was my first experience with a wheelchair. Was that last week in November of 2018.
So one of their, like, going through all of this, what is one of your, like, I'm sure you had to come to terms with what had happened to you, like that acceptance stage.
Well,
when did that come to effect?
there were initial doctors that told my brother that I would probably be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And my brother looked at the doctor and said, "You don't effing know him."
Right, because you're so determined,
Yeah,
and you've got fire in you.
You don't know him.
Wow.
My goal since I've been put in this thing was to walk again. I just want to walk again.
Yeah. It's an emotional journey, right, Curtis? And I feel you, brother. Oh, I know. Yeah. But look at what you were telling me earlier, how things are improving. You're moving.
I mean, and I have to say that the hardest thing has been dealing with emotions, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Never mind the physical limitations. The hardest thing has been emotional.
Well, that's part of it.
So I moved to Sudbury on December 21st of that year, 2018.
Okay.
I started my physio journey the first week of January 2019.
Yeah.
I moved into this building April 9th, 2019, because I'd gone through a level of physiotherapy that my physiotherapist and workers at the hospital said, Curtis, you got to move on from here. So my goal was to originally only stay here for a month or two and then move home to my sister's place on the reserve where I'm from. I'm from Atikameksheng, Anishinaabeg, Atikameksheng First Nation, which is very close to Sudbury,
Okay.
about 15 kilometers west of here.
Okay.
Have you seen Krista?
She popped her head in and then she went out again.
Yeah.
Sasha,
Yeah.
this is Candace.
I met him when I came in earlier. Hi,
Okay.
Sasha.
Hi. How are you?
Good and thanks. We're recording a video if you want to join us. It's about his journey.
Oh, that's cool.
Are you one of his workers?
Yes.
He's one of them.
One of them.
Okay.
Yes, he's one of them. This is Sasha.
And Sasha, I know it's COVID. I would shake your hand otherwise, but nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So I started my physiotherapy in January, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Can't stay for
I moved.
too long.
I moved here in April of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, my original goal was to stay here for 2 months, and then a month after living in another unit, I was offered a room in this unit that I'm in now. And I only accepted my room here because my physiotherapy was on site here. I was taking Tai Chi as well,
Oh, that's good exercise.
seated Tai Chi, mind you. And I had another physiotherapist that I was seeing on the south end of Sudbury,
Okay.
who I no longer see because I found another physiotherapy closer to home here.
So how much improvement have you seen in this man?
Pretty good.
Probably quite a bit.
Yeah.
I haven't known Sasha that long.
No,
Like
it's been probably about like,
4 or 5 months maybe.
oh no, since March, so probably around
Was it since
7
good
or
old
8 or
COVID?
9 months. Yeah, literally right when
Yeah.
COVID started.
Oh wow.
I've been here since 2013, but I was gone for a
Okay.
bit. I came back in March.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. So this is for my new podcast.
Oh yeah.
I'm a brain injury survivor. I'm local. I'm from Sudbury.
Yep.
And what Curtis and I have in common, he wanted to share a story on my stage before the pandemic, but both of our left sides have been affected by stroke.
Mhm.
Because my brain injury, stroke was one of the injuries, I suppose. I think you'll appreciate that. I'm grateful all the time. So to do this, we're both right-handed. That's amazing, right? It's no big deal. But if you think about it, so this is in March. It will be 20 years since my injury and my pain and struggle and strife. But I also have strength. I can move it, but it's it's forced relaxation. What an oxymoron, right? And I'm sure you see this in your clients, right? It's but it's still miraculous. Where's as far as grip, it has no problem holding. But then I'll slowly pour my coffee, and someone will say, "You're dripping your coffee," because there's a little bit of weakness there. But I've learned to accept the fact that it's not like this side, but I can still use it, and I continue to use it. How do you feel?
My acceptance is ongoing. I haven't achieved my new normal yet.
No.
I don't know what my new normal is going to be. If I'm stuck in this chair, I'll deal with it. I don't want to be stuck in this chair. I want to walk again. Even if I can get back to Toronto Fire in some capacity, not necessarily on the fire trucks, but maybe in fire prevention or public education or...
Oh, that's great.
Even public speaking would be pretty cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Because luckily the stroke didn't affect my memories. It didn't affect my speech.
Your speech is great.
Mm-hmm.
I can write. I can type with one hand. Those first initial days of communication, I could only write down notes.
I like pouring form.
Just writing. in general.
Okay.
I couldn't communicate any other way other than writing. I had to like make notes on like a whiteboard.
Okay. So, like, your brain is functioning like
My
a pretty
brain- my
full
brain-
capacity.
My brain is functioning well.
Right.
I've got all my memories, all my long-term memories, all my short-term memories.
Okay.
Didn't lose any speech. I mean, I have some left-sided neglect from my eyesight.
Good sense of humor.
Yeah, that's good that you can attest to it. I'm not sure if that comes with the brain injury, because I have an excellent sense of humor too, and it kind of heightened. But then, like, I don't always think before I talk. There's not really like a filter there. I've worked on it, and it's improved over the past 20 years.
And I've discovered that from having the stroke, a stroke can happen to anybody at any age.
It's true.
Yeah.
I've met 21-year-olds, 23-year-olds,
Yeah.
24-year-olds. One of my best friends, who's a doctor, who was a prominent doctor in this town, is one of my best friends today. And he's hooked me up with like therapists and therapy, and we're just good friends. His name is Dr. Michael Franklin.
Oh, is it in Sudbury?
Yes, in Sudbury.
I met him at a Toastmaster meeting.
So me and him we were roommates in the hospital, and that's how we became good friends.
Dr. Franklin. And did he have a brain injury or a stroke?
He had a stroke.
Have you seen him since?
Yes, I see him all the time.
How's he doing?
He's doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Yep, he's on the same therapy journey that I'm on. Now, he can walk,
Okay.
but he can no longer practice medicine.
Okay. Wow. Did
I
it
mean-
affect his speech?
Luckily, no.
Okay. How was he affected?
Left side, same as me,
But he can walk.
but he can walk.
So what did it affect for him?
His left side, I mean, he's got significant weakness on his left side.
Okay. Does he use any devices?
He uses a walking stick, a cane,
Okay.
a walking pole and a cane.
Okay.
I would be happy if I can get to a walker or a cane.
Absolutely. I went from a wheelchair to a walker. I skipped the cane. I said, forget it. I'm not using a cane. I was 15 or 16 years old at the time.
I mean, Dr. Mike gave me his canes that I have. They're in my room somewhere.
Okay.
I've never used them,
Not yet.
but they're there.
Mhm.
If and when I'm ready to use them.
That's great. It gives yourself some hope, right? Because you see these little improvements. Like you're starting to, you said you have feeling. You have feeling in your leg.
I've got feeling on my left side now.
Okay.
Whereas when I first started this journey, I had no feeling and no movement.
Have you seen?
I've considered going back to bad habits, but I knew that if I went down the path of bad habits,
Yeah.
that would be the end of me.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. No, and you're stronger than that.
Well, because in 2004, December 31st, 2004,
Mm-hmm.
I quit drinking and quit smoking as a New Year's resolution,
Good
and
for you.
I've kept that up to this day.
That's amazing.
So I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, the only drug I'm addicted to is caffeine. As I drink on my
I'm
coffee.
gonna take my mask off of there. I think we're in the same boat.
So as far as therapies go, I do 3 days of physiotherapy. I've got 2 days where I do a Zoom workout group with other stroke survivors in Ontario. It's facilitated by this lady in Parry Sound, and she runs the group. She does exercises that we do on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay, is that through the Ontario Brain Injury Association?
I'm not sure who it's from. I'm not sure who it's with.
Okay.
It was organized by a lady that was working for ICANN at the time, and she's no longer with this company. Her name was Rebecca Bose. I'm not sure what happened to her. but
Okay. She's a
Rebecca-
survivor?
No, Rebecca was a stroke regional coordinator, and she worked with stroke survivors.
That's amazing. So that's nice that you get access to all of these services. I'm really not a good camera lady here.
Is that Krista?
Who? I'll just see another client real quick.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Asha.
I'll be back to check up on you.
But from what you see,
So in 2019,
Oh.
I joined Tai Chi last year in the springtime through my stroke navigator here, who's currently on maternity leave, Robin O'Hara. There's another lady filling in for her, Mary Lee McDonald, until Robin comes back from her mat leave. They're both very good. They're both very good workers here, who organize and coordinate activities for us and our services, and make sure that we're happy with what we're getting. And
that's great.
So my plan now is to continue my therapies and Tai Chi when I can, if I can, where I can, if I can, where I can.
Yeah. Because you see improvement, you see the value.
I see improvement. I see value in doing my therapy.
That is amazing. I see great things in you, Curtis, because you're determined and you're a fighter, and you'll never throw in the towel and give up, right? You are a fighter. That's great.
I won't. I mean, I became a firefighter at the age of 47.
Oh, wow.
Which means when I went to firefighter school, I was 43, so I was the oldest guy in my class. I went to school with a couple of 19-year-olds,
Okay.
a bunch of 20-something-year-olds,
That must have been a challenge.
a few 30-something-year-olds. So I was the oldest guy in the class. I got along with all my instructors because they were all the same age as me, and they were captains, and they were captains at their respective fire services.
Wow.
I've had one of those instructors visit me a couple of months ago, and he was very impressed with how far I've come. So he's a captain with Vaughn.
Okay. Oh, that's great. That's nice that you're still in touch with some of those guys.
Yeah, I'm still in touch.
Yeah.
And I've been contacted by another instructor, and she ran the paramedic aspect of firefighting. Because if some of you are aware or not aware, firefighters and paramedics work hand in hand with each other whenever there's a medical call.
Yeah. Wow. So, hopes and dreams.
Yes.
Well, what are your short-term or long-term goals? We're almost done 2020, thankfully.
Yeah, this year's been a write-off.
Yeah. Goals for 2021?
I'd like to get walking as soon as I'm able to,
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as possible. Yeah.
and work on getting things back, like my driver's license,
Oh wow, that's a huge goal.
because that was one of the first things taken from me was my driver's license.
Right. I don't know what it's like to drive. I don't see well enough. So when I was injured, I wasn't able to even apply for the test. So I take the bus or a taxi, whatever. I walk a lot.
I don't know what I would have to do to get my driver's license back. I'm not even close.
You'd have to have like 100% full mobility on that side. Because you need your two hands to drive and your right foot, right? I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
my friend Mike, he's got complete use of his right side
Okay.
and some use of his left side.
Okay.
He can drive.
Oh, cool. Safely?
Yes.
Okay. That's amazing. There's definitely hope. Right?
I mean, even if there's devices that I can use to compensate for not using my left hand,
Yeah.
but I'm working on using my left hand. I'm hoping to get use of my left hand.
That's amazing.
My main goal right now is to walk again. So I'm working, all my physiotherapy sessions are geared towards walking again and getting the strength back in my left leg to withstand standing.
Yeah.
I do sit to stands a lot. In my physiotherapy and my Zoom group, I do sit to stands.
So from sitting to standing.
Sitting to standing, I mean, I can demonstrate. I can demonstrate.
Oh, but there's nobody here to like a worker.
Yeah, I better not try it.
Yeah, no, don't. That's a liability. I don't want you to fall.
No.
Well, you know what we could do?
This is Krista. She's a
Hi, Krista.
she's a shift lead. This is Candace.
Come on this side. Hi, Krista. Hi. Nice to meet you.
So Candace runs a blog.
Well, it's like I'm starting a podcast.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm introducing extraordinary people with extraordinary stories. So can you see why I'm talking with my friend Curtis here?
Do you want me to be nice? We pick on each other.
Yeah. Have you, this man has been through so much and he has so many big goals. What is that like for you to see in people the amount of
Nice.
progress that they go through?
It's amazing. He's come definitely a long way.
Right?
Yeah.
I was telling
Yeah.
Curtis that, like, as a stroke survivor, I can move this a lot more than, well, it's not like this, but
Yeah.
it's, there's hope, right? We have to continue
Yeah.
using that because the
I
brain
mean-
is a muscle.
The brain is a muscle.
Yes, it is. You know what we should
I
do?
mean, I got a little bit of movement.
Oh, wait. Let me see.
Okay, I gotta find Sasha.
Okay, thanks,
Sorry.
Krista. No
problem.
worries.
He told me he was in here. Yeah.
It's easier to clench in than it is out, right?
Yeah.
Just like mine, I can clench it. To go out, it needs a little bit of help there. So since today is November 17th, 2020, can we make a deal to meet?
I'm creeping up on 2 years to the day that I was found.
Yes. No, you've surpassed it.
No.
November 24th.
No,
No, yes, that's next week. Yes.
next week.
So if I come back a year from now and interview you, and you could tell me about your progress, do you like that idea?
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, thank you so much for this.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Curtis.
You're welcome.
And I'm excited to see your
Anytime.
progress.
I've been encouraged to. I wanted to tell my story on Mo Mondays.
Yeah.
We were getting close to that, and
Yeah.
then stuff happened, and
Yeah. The world pressed pause.
the world pressed pause on a bunch of things,
Most things.
most things.
But now you're helping share your story with others on this platform.
Yes,
And I think that's really important for us to.
I've shared my story on my Union magazine, which I'm going to share a copy with Candace once I get a copy.
Oh, that's great.
So I've shared my story with other firefighters in Toronto service. A lot of my family and friends have seen this article, and hopefully more people will see it. I'm hoping my experience will be a blueprint for anybody else who's had to go, who might have to go through what I'm going through right now. It will serve as a blueprint to make life easier.
Right. And you're an advocate for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Curtis.
you're
Maybe
welcome.
motivational speaker in the making. You never know.
Maybe. I've been encouraged to.
I'll be back a year
Be
from
that-
now.
I've been encouraged to write a book. I've been encouraged to do this. I've told my story so many times now. It's becoming second nature to tell it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind sharing my story with anybody who wants to listen.
No, 'cause you have the opportunity to inspire others.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back a year from now and see what life has to offer for Curtis.
I may not be living here a year from now. I might be living on my First Nation
Okay.
with my sister, because my goal is to move out of here in the spring.
Awesome.
I mean, my brother-in-law and some of my family members want me to be walking, but I can't promise that. I can't promise when I will be walking. Walking will have to happen naturally.
Yeah, you're right. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, but at the same time, you want to put some pressure.
I can't force my rehabilitation.
No, that's true.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, I've come a long way, but I realize I've got a long way to go. Yeah,
Thanks for this.
you're welcome.
I'll be back a year from now.